So now that you understand how to have proper subcommunication, it's time to talk about verbal game. What do you say? How do you say it? Do you need to worry about running out of things to say? We already discussed that that's not a big thing, but what we're going to get into is how to make your words have a bigger impact, right? How to tap into a woman's emotions with what you say, right? How to use certain things, how to use certain verbal cues, certain context to get the girl to invest, to have the girl want you for you instead of doing more game. Okay, so how do you have proper verbal game? What are the fuckboy principles of verbal game? We're going to crack into that right now. So the first thing to understand is that it's not what you say, but it's the context. The number one rule of verbal game, of having good verbals, is it's not what you say, but it's about the context of how you say things and the context of what the situation is, right? So let's say that I meet a girl and it's during the day and she looks like she's kind of in a bad mood. The context of how I meet that girl is going to be different than I meet a girl at night and it's a nightclub. The context is one thing, but then I can also create a different context, right? With my tonality, with the different rules, the different basics of verbal game. So the key to having good verbals is creating the context behind what you want. It's creating a sexual context, an open context where you can say pretty much whatever you want to the girl and the girl will invest, the girl will chase. That's how you have good verbal game. That's the goal, and that's what we're going to learn here. Getting you to the point where you have the right context behind your words. It's not about what you say. Again, it's not about how much you say. It's about getting the right context behind those words, and that's our goal here. The other thing that's important to understand is that we talked about this before, and I kind of want to reestablish these last 2 points. Your actions speak louder than words. Like your actions, even though the infield we're going to go over here is all about verbal, the things that I'm saying to the girls, your actions at the end of the day are what get you results. It's not about, the one little thing you say, it's about how you say things, the context, and also the subcommunication behind your words. Remember the last video we looked at, it is the subcommunication behind your words, not just, okay, I'm saying this thing. It is the actions and the context behind your words, okay? So that's what you want to focus on. Now, if you want to get good with verbal game, if you want to, the rules to verbal game, there are 5 basic principles to having good verbal game. There's 5 basic rules. The first one is proper tonality. The second one is interacting with the girl through emotional relevance. The third one is presenting versus explaining. The fourth one is cutting the thread or starting new threads. And the fifth one is emotional storytelling. So in this video, we're going to look at all 5 of these. We're going to see how they apply to your game with women. Then we'll look at a few infield demonstrations, a few infield examples of how I used some of these principles in my own verbal game and how you can apply it yourself, okay? So the first one is tonality. When you're talking to girls, remember we talked about in the video about subcommunication that when you're talking to women, you want to have a face that looks almost disinterested. It's the same thing when you're talking to girls verbally. Your verbals should be the exact same thing. When you talk to girls, you want to have what I call flatline communication. Most guys, when they're talking to girls, have this very sing-songy tone in their voice. It's kind of like, oh, that's cool. Like the girl says, I have a cousin who's a doctor. And he's like, oh, cool. I also done this. Or they're like, I'm here in New York for vacation. And he's like, oh, cool. Vacation. They're kind of, repeating the words back that the girl says instead of, okay. Flatline communication. That's actually something I went over with one of my students recently. I told him that I no longer wanted him to even ask the girl a question because he was talking like, nice. And I was like, don't do that anymore. I just want you to talk flatline communication. At the end of your sentences, are your words going up constantly or are they going down? Is your voice inflecting or is it going down? Remember at the beginning of this video, we talked about context. That context is everything. This is how you establish a proper context. When you make your words no longer go up and inflect and instead they're going down. Now, again, some guys kind of take this a little far and they're like, yeah, and act like mean. They kind of get to a growl. I'm not saying that, and you'll see in the infield examples what you should do, but you don't want your voice to be inflecting constantly like a little wave. You want it to be more flatline within a range of like 4 to 6. You don't want it to be like 2 or 0 at the one end of the spectrum and then 10 at the other end of the spectrum. Like, nice. I had a student in New York like about a month ago, and the way he was talking to girls was very like the girl would say, he would ask the girl kind of where she's from, and she'd say, oh, I'm from Denmark. He'd be like, oh, that's very nice. Oh, that's cool. And at the end of program, this is how he was talking. She was like, I'm from Denmark, and he's like, interesting. I'm from Germany, right? And he just kind of was just flatlining it, and girls were much more attracted to him because the context that he showed was not investing. You don't want to invest with your voice. You don't want to over-invest with your voice. Not because it's so bad to invest, but because if you're trying to be the guy who's from being instead of doing, anytime you invest and over-invest, you're showing the girl I need to do more to get you because I feel I'm not enough, right? Without me doing more to get you, I'll lose. So when you stop over-investing, you're going to be winning. Now, the other thing is, You want to have a relaxed voice. So it's not just flatline voice, part of tonality. You also want your voice to be relaxed. So even though you want to be flatlining and not like, you want your voice to be relaxed. Your tone should be something that is melodic, right? I call it peaceful clarity of words. That's kind of the context behind it. Your voice should not be up and down, up and down. It should be flatline. And in addition to being flatline, you should have a melodic, peaceful voice. It should be relaxing, kind of vibing, meditative voice. Think about if you were meditating, how would the person who was running the session sound? They'd say, okay, now I want you to go to a calm place. I want you to go to a place that makes you feel, right? That's how they would talk. That's how you should talk to women. When I'm talking to girls, as you'll see in the examples, that's the tone in which I talk. Sometimes I talk louder. I'd be lying if I said sometimes I'm not like, hey, what's up? And I kind of talk louder. But most of the time when I'm talking to girls, it is very flatline. It's not like, like very exaggerated, you know what I mean? It's a very flatline, basic communication. And the context of the way my voice sounds is very vibing and meditative. Not all the time, 24/7, but this is your general tone. It's a very lulling voice. So think about this. When you're going out, pay attention to how your voice sounds. Are you going out and do you sound like you are freaking out when you're talking to girls? Do you sound like you are, over-investing with your tonality? Or are you talking to girls just like, hey, what's up? I think you're interesting. I want to meet you, right? Or are you like, oh my gosh, extra verbals, more verbals, and going harder and harder and harder. You want to be relaxed. You want to be calm. You don't want to overinvest. You don't want to be the guy who is constantly inflecting his voice. And the last thing I want to talk about with tonality is peaceful clarity of words. So when you say certain words, you want to have what I call a peaceful clarity. You don't want to have your words. Let's say that I tell a girl, I'm going to take her back to my place and I'm going to drink with her. Some guys will do it like this. They'll be like, yo, let's go drink. Right? And they'll kind of be like, let's go grab drinks. The way I say it is, I want to drink with you. Do you have, or let's say I'm going to smoke with her, like smoke weed. I'll be like, do you have weed at your place? Or I'll say, I have weed. Come smoke with me. How do you get when you smoke? You see, peaceful clarity of words. Even in a nightclub, I do this. My words are still very, very clear. It's not like inflecting all over the place. It's not like up here, down there, up here, down there. How can I get into the girl's frame? It's more like I'm already attractive. And the way I'm talking is from a way of being, again, a way of being in my words instead of doing more. So it's like, here, I am. Who are you? I like you. Meet me. Come say hi. Things like that. It's not up and down, up and down, up and down. Peaceful clarity of words, relaxed, meditative voice, right? And flatline communication. That's so you're going to have proper tonality. Pay attention to this when you go out. When you go out and meet women, when you're communicating with girls that you're attracted to, again, you should be talking to girls that you are into, not girls that you're not attracted to. Don't open just to open. Talk to girls you're into. How is your tonality? Is your tonality or is your tonality flatline? Is it And how is the tone of your voice? How is the cadence of your voice? Is it raggedy all over the place? Like, my student was like that this weekend, and I told him he needs to say less and talk clear. The clarity of words, a peaceful clarity of words. It shouldn't be a frantic up and down all over the place. Okay. Now, another part of verbal game, the second principle of verbal game, having good verbals, again, like the 5 pillars, I guess we'll call it, is interacting through emotional relevance. Okay. So this is probably the building blocks of my verbal game. Aside from the tonality, which is where everything is kind of coming from. The way that I'm interacting with the woman is through emotional relevance. What does it mean to be emotionally relevant? What does it mean to be emotionally relevant? Well, what it means is you're attaching emotional significance to the woman's features, actions, and her words. So a lot of guys, when they go out and communicate with girls, especially guys who are not good with women, what they'll do is they'll say something to the girl, or the girl will say something to them, or they'll make an observation about the girl, and they will give a value-based answer. So let's say that a girl has on a nice jacket. Like, she has on a fucking jacket. They'll be like, hey, I like your jacket. Instead of saying, you look creative as fuck, I love your jacket, I have to meet you. Or even cut out the jacket part, you look creative as fuck. What they do is they're coming up to her and they're saying, I need to get into this girl's bubble. But of course, they don't really give a shit about her jacket. They don't give a shit about her actual jacket. What they're doing is they're saying, I like the jacket, and they convey that they're interested in the jacket. I like your jacket, so I wanted to meet you. But the girl knows that you don't give a shit about my jacket. So emotional relevance is essentially being genuine as fuck. When you're coming from emotional relevance, you're going to be making observations, making statements about the girl that have to do with her as a person and cause her to feel, hey, why would he say that about me? Like, what makes him say that about me? For example, I assume, and you'll see this in infield, I assume a lot of times that girls have accents for no reason. I'll be like, I love your foreign accent, little girl. And the girl's like, what? Right? It makes her think, what? Why would he say that? The reason why I'm saying that is because I am making an assumption about her as a person. I'm not saying, hey, you look so Russian. Excuse me, you look Russian. And we'll talk about, how to do this later and how to word things properly. But what I'm paying attention to is not the surface level. A lot of guys will say, I love your jewelry. Where do you get it from? Or you don't give a shit about her fucking jewelry, dude. Like, you really don't give a shit about her jewelry. Right? You want to fuck the girl. You want to fuck the girl. This is why it helps to visualize having sex with the girl and come from, a place of honesty. What we talked about, subcommunication, visualization is so important, and manifestation, because if you don't do that, this is what's going to happen. You're going to start talking on the surface. You don't want to do that. How do you become emotionally relevant? One thing is misinterpreting her behaviors. Right? So a girl, at a very small level, let's say that a girl looks at me a certain way after I say something about myself. Let's say that I say, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, because that's where I grew up. I say I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and the girl will look at me, and she'll be like, oh, something. So I'll say something, some response, and I'll say, you're such an asshole. Or let's say she says, oh, I'm from Texas. And I'm like, God, no. Misinterpreting something about her, right? Just because you're from Texas, does that mean that you're bad because you're from Texas? No. But I'll be like, God, no. And it's just like, what? Why would you say that? Bam. See, now it's emotionally relevant. And I don't say it, again, if you have the proper tonality. If you're like, oh, God, no. No, now it's not attractive anymore. But the second you say, God, no. Terrible. Then the girl's going to be like investing and chasing. She has to. Because, again, the context is emotional. You're not interacting through value. So one is misinterpreting behavior she gives. Like little things that she does. Like another thing I'll do is I like to say, you're so cute to the girl. Like just, you're so cute. But I don't do it for no reason. I do it when she does something. So let's say that like the girl starts dancing in the club for no reason. Like, oh, the music plays and she starts dancing. I won't dance. So I'll just be like, oh, you're so cute. And I'll kind of give her that little, that little kind of demeaning little laugh. I'm like, you're so cute, right? Or I'll be like, I hate you so much because of something she did. Right? Or because of a joke that she tells. I'll be like, I hate you so much. Another thing is making assumptions about her character. And this goes back to the, the misinterpreting behaviors, making assumptions about the girl's character. Instead of saying, like, oh, you seem like a nice person, just say, you're a fucking asshole. Or you're fucking amazing. You're such a sweet girl. You're so sweet. Oh my God. I love that. Right? I'm constantly misinterpreting. So any little thing the girl does, I can misinterpret it and I can make it into something that it's not. I can make it into a big deal. Right? I could go so fucking far with this, and you guys will see it on infield. Like, there's so many little things you could do. So many little fucking things you could do. Like, even when a girl just looks into your eyes, you could be like, you want to get tied up, don't you? Why does she want to get tied up? Did she say anything about that? No. You're just interpreting that because she looked in your eyes, it means she wants to get tied up. That's verbal game. Like, that's good verbal game. And the context behind these verbals, behind the way that you interact with women, needs to be emotionally relevant. The context behind how you interact with women needs to be emotionally relevant. So the next time you go out and you approach women, you want to be coming from this emotional context. Again, every time you interact with girls and your verbals are based on value-based verbals, like, I do this for work. And again, saying that you do something for work is not terrible, but how do you respond when she gives you something back? Right? How do you respond? And of course, there's always like a balance. You never want to be the guy who's constantly being retardedly emotional at all times. You want to have a balance. You want it to be up and down, up and down. I call it always coming back to a baseline of normal. So, you have these emotional verbals where you are interacting through emotional relevance, not being a clown, but where you're misinterpreting her behaviors, making assumptions about her character, saying, I think you're an asshole because, let's say the girl says she's from Spain, be like, oh my God, you're Spanish, you're such an asshole, right? That's a joke, right? It's not a real thing. Or so feisty, you're so feisty. Let's say the girl has on like an exotic outfit. Like for one opener that I used to use, recently that's something I would start conversations with, or kind of the way I interact with girls is when I would see a girl with a crazy outfit, I would call her an exotic little princess. I'd be like, you pretentious exotic little princess, I love you. Right? What am I doing there? Again, I'm making an assumption about her her behavior. I'm misinterpreting her behavior. She's wearing a fucking outfit, so I say you're an exotic princess. I love you. I'm just making something about her character, saying I love your character. I didn't say I love your character, but that's the context. Remember, context is everything. So I'm assuming something amazing about something that's not even amazing. I'm making something out of nothing. It's literally making something out of nothing. You don't want to constantly be doing this the whole interaction. You want to eventually be a normal guy who can build comfort and be so that she can relate to, but it is still something that you want to do more often than not. Okay, now, something else, another one of the principles, one of the basics of good verbal game, the third principle is presenting versus explaining. When you're talking to girls, you don't want to be explaining, you want to be presenting. So essentially, this is the principle of cutting words out. Less is more. Remember in the last infield clip we looked at, the girl said her name and I didn't respond, right? Instead of thinking of more words to fill up space, less is actually more. Why am I telling you to say less? Because the less you say, the more tension you're building, right? The less you say, the more tension you're going to build. So instead of me going, more verbals, more verbals, more verbals, figure out more things to say, less is more. And how do you do this? You do it by presenting things to the girl instead of explaining them. For example, what do I mean by presenting? Let's say that I want to tell someone, just an average person, I want to say, I'm a hard worker. Instead of me saying, I'm a hard worker, man. I love fucking working and going out and just hustling. No, instead I'll say, I work hard as fuck, man. And that's it. I work hard as fuck. Now, there's some situations where I will explain. But when you're talking to girls and you're going out at night or during the day, you don't want to be explaining. You want to be presenting. A big part of this is saying, like, instead of, like, the bad part, like a big part of this, a lot of guys do this wrong. They say things like, you seem like the kind of girl, right? Or I like your jewelry. It makes you seem like, right? They'll give a bunch of wordy statements instead of just, you are this. Like, reframe, here's the frame you can use. Reframe your words from saying, you seem like you would do this, to, you are this. Like, you're a fucking asshole. You're amazing. You're a Trump supporter. As a joke. You don't have to say this. Like, or, you liberal, you conservative, you crazy girl, right? Any of those could work. Like, there's so many different things you could say, right? The context is not, let me explain. You seem like you'd be a liberal because of this, right? For example, I told my student recently, one of my students, I told him to do an exercise where he went up to a girl and just made her stand up. And he went up to her and I told him, I was like, just tell the girl to stand. Don't say, hey, excuse me, I want to see how tall you are. I want just tell her to stand. Be like, you seem tall, stand. And he went up to her and he was like, I wonder how tall you are. I'm curious. Can you stand? Like, that's explaining. Presenting is stand. How tall are you? Right? Presenting is less words and it comes across as more dominant. It comes across, it demonstrates higher masculine energy, right? And you interact with her feminine more. Why? Because it builds tension. And the more you build tension with a girl, like we talked about, the fuckboy frame principle of, building tension, messing around with tension, you allow the woman to open up her feminine to you more. So instead of explaining your words, present them. Don't explain like, you seem like this. Cut out the filler words. The filler words, you seem like, I think you're the type to. No, she is. She is the kind of girl who would do this. She is this kind of girl. Like, again, like I would go up to a girl and I'd be like, I've been waiting for you all night. Or, where have you been? We'll look at some other infield later where I open a girl like that. I'm like, where have you been? Instead of, hey, like, where have you been? Can I come say hi to you? Instead of all that, just know, where have you fucking been? And when I'm talking to girls as well, the verbals that I'm using are much less. I'm not going through this long, extended dialogue. Right? It's very simple words. Now, sometimes I do have conversations. We're not saying the whole time. Again, this really helps you when you open, of course. But I'm not saying the whole time during the interaction you sit there and you're like, no words, just one word sentence. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying when you're being emotionally relevant, when you're making assumptions, when you're making statements, when you're flirting with the girl, you don't need to explain yourself. You come across, you just say, you are. Your attitude is this. Your attitude is so bad. I hate it so much. Instead of, I feel like you have a terrible, no, fuck that. Your attitude is. You tell her it is this way, right? It is this way. Another one is, I've been looking for a girl like you all night. That's an opener I use. I've been looking for a girl like you all night. And then she says, what kind of girl? I'm just like, bit of an asshole. Bit of a cute girl. Kind of lighthearted. See, instead of saying, you seem like you're an asshole and you're a bit lighthearted, and you seem kind of cute. No, just fuck the you seem shit. You're this kind of girl. Okay? Now, the fourth principle of having good verbal game, the fourth principle of, the fuckboy verbal principles, we'll call it that, is cutting the thread and starting new threads. This is more of an advanced principle, but I think that wherever you are in your game, you can begin to cultivate it, okay? The first thing is keeping the girl on her toes verbally. So part of cutting the thread basically is keeping the girl on her toes. So it's where you're not just saying, one little thing to the girl. It's like, here's one little phrase that I'm giving you and that's it. It's where you don't have conversations about one topic. A lot of guys do this. They get the girl showing interest on one little thing, and they'll start talking about that over and over and over and over and over again, going down this whole thread of that one topic because they think the girl likes it. So they'll be like, let me use that the whole conversation. What you need to do instead is cut the thread from topic to topic. Now, this doesn't mean you have to constantly be like talking, let's say you're sitting on a bench with her and having a long conversation about art, and then you're like, okay, next topic. And we're gonna get into these verbal principles even in later videos when I talk about how to pull and how to run an interaction. But what you wanna do instead is keep her on her toes verbally. It's kind of like you're constantly bouncing. One way you can do this is by not responding to her compliments or her little jabs, right? So if a girl's like, you seem like you could be a bit of an asshole, because that's how girls talk generally. Girls do a lot of explaining instead of presenting. Remember the feminine versus the masculine? What I'm telling you is the masculine. Girls will say, you seem like you are an asshole. I'll be like, I am. Where are you from? What am I doing there? Cutting the thread. Let's say me and her are having a talk. Let's say we're middle of the interaction. We're talking about dating and stuff. And she's like, yeah, my ex was just a terrible fucking person. I'll be like, was the sex good? Now I'm talking about sex. She'll be like, no, because most people are predisposed to believe that sex with their ex was terrible. She'll be like, no, it wasn't. He was a fucking asshole. He did this and did that. Then instead of responding to that, I'll say, I could see you being tied up. I could totally see you being tied up. See what's happening now? Now that I said I could see you being tied up, I'm interacting with her through emotional relevance, and I'm cutting the thread. I'm cutting it to now a different sexual thread. Instead of saying, what kind of sex do you like? I'm saying, I could see you tied up. Remember earlier, a couple seconds ago, I didn't say, you seem like the girl that would be tied up. No, I said, I could see you tied up. I'd totally tie you up in my bed. Then we talk about that for a bit. And I tell her about how I used to tie girls up. Then I'll say instead, are you shy? Like, are you really a shy, reserved kind of girl? Now I'm cutting the thread again. Right? Another thing you can do is I call it attaching non-related compliments or teases. And that's kind of just what I talked about there. Like a girl could literally be talking about what she does for work. If it starts getting boring, this is, again, a lot of guys are like, my words get boring and I run out of things to say. Think of it this way. As a man, you can literally dictate the entire interaction however you want. So the girl is going to be talking to you and the girl goes like, let's say the girl's like, what does she say? The girl's talking about her job and she says she works at IHOP. Or no, not IHOP. Let's say she works at IKEA. Okay, I'm making something up. IKEA. She's like, I work at IKEA. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. And she says, and she's talking about how she doesn't like it. She's like, I hate it because I'm the kind of person that wants to work for myself. While I'm talking to her, I'll be like, she's saying that and I'll say, you have this little sparkle in your eye when you talk. It's so cute. Where do you get that from? See, and now I've attached a non-related compliment. You have this little sparkle in your eye when you talk. Where do you get it from? Now it's literally non-related to what I'm talking about. Like it's completely non-related. So now the girl is going to invest. Now the girl's going to fucking chase. And the verbals are going to be, the cutting the thread is going to be much better because I'm constantly moving on to another topic. I'm constantly moving on. And it's not even different topics I'm picking, but it's that I'm never staying on one thing for ages so the conversation doesn't die out. A lot of guys, if you have been wondering how to keep your conversation from dying out, this is how. Again, cutting the thread and starting new threads. Keeping her on her toes verbally. So again, not being afraid to move on from thing to thing, but by not responding to her compliments and jabs. The girl says, why, do you like girls from Miami? I'll be like, come with me here. Remember? See, again, remember in the last video, that's what I did. The girl was like, I said my name, and I was like, I heard. And then I said, come with me. Non-responding to her little jabs, non-responding to little things she's giving you, but instead moving the interaction forward. And we'll talk about how to move it forward in a bit. Right? And attaching non-related compliments and non-related teases. Those are really valuable parts of your interaction when it comes to verbal game. Now, the fifth part of having good verbal game, the fifth part of making sure that your interactions are on point when it comes to what you say is emotional storytelling. And this is what's going to take your interactions from being boring to actually fun. So the first thing we talked about, was how to have proper tonality, so how to establish your masculinity. The second thing we talked about was interacting through emotional relevance, so how to tap into the woman's emotions and actually make her want you. The third part was presenting versus explaining, so taking away the neediness, removing the neediness and the need to chase and just saying it is what it is, reaffirming that masculine presence, and then cutting the thread, starting new threads, so constantly keeping the girl on her toes. And now this, emotional storytelling, is what's going to take the interaction to the next level. This is what's going to make it fun. This is what's going to make the girl actually like, I need to be here because we're going down this whole role play together in this adventure. So it's so important. Part of emotional storytelling is understanding how to paint a picture with the girl. Understanding what it means to paint a picture, right? When you're talking to girls, you have to learn how to paint a picture with them. You have to paint a picture with the girl. Part of painting a picture with her, and when I say painting a picture, I mean creating a fantasy. Creating a fucking fantasy of what you're going to do together. Like I'll tell girls, I'll be like, you're going to be my little stripper. I'm going to take you to my village in my villa in Costa Rica. We're going to look out on the beach. We'll have sex on my balcony. Sure, a little bit of sand will get in your pussy, but it won't kill you. Ignore the last part. It's kind of like a little thing I say when I'm feeling weird. But that's like an example of like the emotional storytelling, right? I create this story, this fantasy. Like a big thing is I'll tell girls that we'll get married. I'm like, we're going to get married. We're going to have 3 kids. We'll get divorced after about a year. But, you know, the sex will be amazing. And you'll get married to a guy that's really rich, has money. But you're going to come back and keep fucking me because I'll just be much better in bed than he is. Like, you come every time we have sex. Like, and I keep going down this role play, right? I keep going down, and I'll show you in-field examples of this. I keep going down this fantasy, and I create this picture in her head. I paint this picture, and I set a mutual sexual vibe. So part of this painting a picture is it can't be where you're like, I want to do this to you, and I want to make this happen to you. I want to make this. No, it's like, we're going to do this together. You have to set the frame as she wants it to. It can't be, I'm throwing all the shit at you, hoping that you'll receive it, because then it becomes creepy. But the second you set this mutual vibe, like it's me and you together, doing this together, we're going to get married. We're going to go on vacation. We're going to take over the world. Like this sexual role play, the sexual fantasy, that's when you're going to be winning. Here's actually how you create it. So there's 2 major types of stories, and the stories I'm telling you about are the stories that are emotional. There's 2 major types of stories, and if you're writing, write this down. There's future projection type of stories, and then there are role-playing stories, okay? And I'm going to go really deep here, but if you're taking notes, write this down because it's going to help you. So there's 2 kinds of stories. There's future projections and there's role-playing. So the first kind, future projections, is things like getting married, traveling together, having kids, and tragedy, and more. So one example is getting married. I love using that as a future projection. I'll tell the girl, we're going to get married, we're going to do this, we're going to go through this experience together, blah, 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 right? We're going to get married. That's like a huge role play. And I don't just say, we're going to get married one day. I go far with it. I'm like, we're going to fucking get married. We're going to have 1 kid. He's just going to be 1. You know, but he's going to be Latino. Even though you're white, I'm black, he's going to come out, he's going to be Latino. People are going to be wondering, who's the fucking dad? They're just going to be like, what the fuck? But you know what? It's going to be me, because you'll feel my cock inside of you, impregnating you with our future child. Right? It's like, that's the story that I'm doing. I'm painting a picture, I'm using these descriptive words, but that's like a marriage story. Right? Another one is traveling together. I tell girls, like, I say, I'm going to be going to Sweden in the summer. Come with me. I'll fit you in my suitcase. I will sneak you across the border. You can come with me. We'll stay in my cabin that is overlooking the city of Gothenburg. We'll have amazing sex by my fireplace. Again, you see how I sexualized it, but I'm painting a story. I'm painting a picture in her head, but I'm doing it as a future projection. I'm like, in the future, come with me, we'll do this. This is so powerful because it paints the we frame. It paints a us together frame for the girl. It has to be both of us. Right? And it's a future projection. It makes the girl get bought more into the narrative. It makes her buy more into, you. And this is what's funny. It's not about doing. It's not about like, let me say these little lines, because sometimes I don't say these lines. But a lot of times I do. And when I do, the girl buys into me more. She's like, this guy is conveying himself. This guy is fucking saying whatever he wants on his mind. Another example is kids. I kind of already talked about that, the getting married and having kids thing. Tragedy is another one. Like, that's a huge thing. Like, I tell a joke a lot. I'm like, yeah, when North Korea destroys us with the fucking nuke, at least we'll be having sex. It'll be good. You'll be coming. I'll be coming. Probably on your face. And, we'll see the missile come in from the side. And we'll go out that way. It'll be fucking amazing. We'll go into the afterlife coming together. You see, like, that's joking. It's tragedy. But it works. Now, again, all this stuff you don't have to do. I don't want you to be uncalibrated with this. We'll talk about social awareness in a bit. You don't in the 4th video in this module, but you don't have to, or in this section, you don't have to be crazy about like saying this all the time, constantly. You don't want to be telling these weird stories all the time, but you do want to have them in there. Another example is role playing. That's another part of this. A part of having storytelling is role playing, right? So one role play that I do a lot is the sibling, parent, or relative role play. I think that's really fucking funny. And it sexualizes the interaction a lot. Like, for example, if I talk to a girl that looks kind of Latino or black, I'll be like, you look like my sister. And the girl will be like, what? Like, after I've already gotten sexual, physical, remember we talked about proper subcommunication, so I've established that subcommunication, shared her space, I'm manifesting my intentions, manifestation, the 3rd principle. What I do is, I'll be like, you look like my sister. And the girl's like, what? I'll be like, it's fine. I could have an incestuous relationship. It's not a big deal. Our parents can't find out, though. We can only have sex on weekends when they're out of town. Mommy's a lawyer, daddy's a doctor. We never see them. So all we have to do is rely on each other and our sexual chemistry. right? And I'll kind of bring it across that way. And the girl's like, oh my God, you're so fucking insane. And she's like, I'm with it. Like, girls like kind of play along with that. And that's not serious if you're watching this and you're triggered by this, okay? This is not for you then, I guess. But you know, it's a fucking joke. It's like if the girl gets bought into that narrative even more. Now, you don't want to be doing this stuff all the time. Again, if you do this stuff constantly, you just become weird. You want to have a verbal up and down. Again, always going back to being a normal guy. You then want to balance it out with actually saying, no, I'm kind of fucking with you. Cutting the thread, I'm fucking with you. Where are you from, actually? And actually getting to know her, but then going back to that role play, right? The other thing is being blatantly sexual, just saying you look amazing, tied up, blindfolded, doing those things, throwing those little role plays in there. You know, like saying, I could see you tied up in my bed. That's a huge line I use. I could see you tied up in my bed. You have a cute little booty. You look amazing bent over. Now, you don't want to do this when you get up to the girl. Like, the second you get up, like, hey, I could see you tied up in my bed. I could make an argument that it would work, sure, but, you know, generally you're not doing that. You don't want to go up to a girl and just blatantly do that. But you do want to fall into that role play. You do want to fall into that storyline, that story arc. Another thing is describing taking the girl home. That's what I do as well. I'll tell the girl, this is especially when I get closer to actually leaving the club with girls, I'll tell them, I'm going to take you home. It's going to be amazing. I have a sick balcony. Have you ever had sex on a balcony before? Like, have you ever had sex looking over the entire city? And the girl fall into that narrative. She'll be like, no, I haven't. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is crazy. And she falls more into the role play. But what's important though about this is that you use the we frame. A lot of guys don't come from the frame of we and we're doing this. Like, they don't come from the frame of us together is doing this. It's more like, I'm trying to get in your pants because I'm a fucking horny bastard. And it just doesn't fucking work when you do that, right? It doesn't work when you come from that frame. It has to be a frame of we're doing this, we both enjoy this, we both enjoy this experience together. It can't be, I'm trying to get you, I'm trying to bag you. Please give me more pussy. Please give me more of your time, more of your attention. It has to be both of us together. Right, so the we frame is important. We're gonna do this together. We're going to go here and do this. We're gonna travel. I'm gonna take you with me and we'll have a good time. It has to be the we frame. If you don't have the we frame, it's going to be disjointed because it's you being the creeper, horny guy trying to get the girl to say, yes, please, let's do it. If you just say we and assume it's we, you're already showing her, hey, I assume you're part of it already, without question. Another thing is the power of exaggeration, like actually exaggerating things. This is kind of the final principle of the verbal game, and we'll crack into some videos demonstrating this. You have to exaggerate shit. If you don't exaggerate when you're talking to girls, it's going to kind of be boring. Now, everyone's not good at this. I'm very good at doing this. Like, I'm extremely good at doing this. But exaggeration is really important, and it's really good. And in the next couple of videos, in the next couple of infield examples, you'll see how I do this. So let's go ahead and crack into some infield now that breaks down verbal game. So we're going to crack into a video where I here with my bootcamp assistant and my students on program, and they were talking to these girls, and I kind of wanted to do a few demonstrations showing them, you know, the best way to communicate with girls. I want you guys to look at some of the verbal role play that I have here. Let's look at a lot of the things that I do verbally, my tonality, the way I'm coming across and all that, so you guys can see how it's applied right here. So I'm coming up and I was asking my students if they were pulling. I was asking them, hey, are you about to pull? I was asking my bootcamp assistant actually, was he about to pull with the students? I had another student who was talking to a girl and he was about to pull her, so that was good. And then I went to check on the student that was with my bootcamp assistant and see if they were gonna end up pulling. So let's see what happens. Have you guys set up a pull yet or no?
We were
Hi, by the way.
but like,
I said hi earlier. Yeah, it's like pull, kidnap people, ruin their lives.
Ruin their lives and then go home with them.
You don't have an accent. See, you notice I'm already starting off with two things, two big things. One is listen to my tonality through this whole conversation. And we're gonna look at a lot of other examples of this in this video right here. We're gonna look at more examples, but this is the first one. Look at how I talk to her. Here, how is my vocal tonality? It's very flatlined. It's not, No, it's like, here I am. And the girl's like, pull? Like, what does that mean? Which of course she knows what it means, like take girls home. And what did I do? I exaggerated it. I said, yeah, take girls home, kidnap them. And instead of going down that whole thread, my bootcamp assistant actually was about to kind of do that. I instantly stopped, and he's really good at game, but he's still like learning and getting better. I instantly stopped and I cut the thread. And I went to a new topic. What did I say next? I was like, where are you from? I just instantly cut that. I was like, yeah, I exaggerated hardcore. I'm gonna fucking pull you. We're gonna do this. We're gonna take you home and kidnap you. Anyway, where are you from? You don't have an accent. I didn't say you don't have an accent. I said, where are you from? I mean, I didn't say where are you from. I said, you don't have an accent. Right? I said, you don't have an accent. And the girl's like, ha ha ha. Kind of joking. We'll see what happens. We'll kidnap people. Ruin their lives.
Ruin their lives and then go home with them.
You don't have an accent.
What?
You don't have an accent. Again, I literally cut the thread in seconds. Just, I said that one thing and then bam, next topic. You don't have an accent. And instead of me explaining, you don't sound like you have an accent. I thought you would be blah, blah, blah. I just said, you don't have an accent. And I kind of explained a little more here because she's a little confused. But the concept, the context behind it was, You don't have an accent, and that was it. And I waited for her to respond.
Me?
Yeah, you don't. I thought you were gonna be like, oh, and I'd be like, Putin, oh my God, run. I love you.
No, I'm from New York. I won't have an accent.
I'm doing the hugs thing here. Go on for hugs. Yeah, nice to meet you, Tim. I feel so fucking German right now.
Wait, are you German?
No. Are you German?
No.
Do you speak German? No. Can you speak German?
No.
You should come chill. You should come drink with us.
I'm so fucked up. I have to go home.
Why? Fuck it. What are you doing tomorrow? What time do you have work? You don't.
No.
You see, like right now, and some guys will see this and be like, why are you asking so many questions? Interview mode. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get more information about her so I can figure out, can I actually pull? And we actually didn't end up taking these girls home. But this is still a good example of verbal game and how you should interact with a girl verbally. Because I'm literally just like, verbal, like talking, but the way I'm saying it is so fucking flatline. There's zero inflection, like, who are you here with? Are you, no, it's just like, are you Russian? Are you German? I'm just throwing shit at her. And every interaction you get, you don't want it to be like this. So this is why I put it first, so you can see kind of the extreme example of how I talk, and then we'll look at some more common sense examples. But this is how I'm talking to her. It's just like flatline communication, fucking flatline, and that's it. Exactly. I knew it.
No.
Do you want to have work?
I have to go home.
No, you don't.
I do.
Be adventurous and hang out with like the black fuckboy type looking guy. I know you want to. Like I can see it in your eyes.
I just have to go home.
I see. Even when I said that, I said be adventurous and hang out with like the black fuckboy guy, aka the fuckboy frame. What am I doing? I said it in her ear, and remember we talked about the meditative tonality, right? That meditative, relaxing tone. That's how I said it. Like literally, hang out with me, the black fuckboy guy. I know you want to. I can see it all over you. Right? That's how I communicate with women, generally. Now, if I'm feeling super in my head, maybe I'll accidentally fuck it up, and I'll kind of be like, all over the place. But this is like how you want to be interacting when you're at your most. Now, I was with my students, and I wanted them to pull, so I didn't really focus on actually making a pull happen. If she would have said, yes, I'm down to go, I would have given her to my student so he could pull her. But in this case, I was winging my student, and we were making shit happen. Let's keep going.
I'm so fucked up. Like
I love you. What's your name?
Myself.
So you see, now she's saying like, I'm so fucked up, I can't do it, whatever. And I figured out, yeah, I'm not gonna pull her. I actually ended up just getting her Snapchat because that was just a smarter move. And she actually still follows me. We talked a couple of times, but I've been traveling, I'm not into her. But you'll see how I do it. I just cut the thread again. I said, what's your name? She was literally explaining, I'm so fucked up, I'm feeling like this. I just said, what's your name? You can't be afraid to fucking cut the thread and change to something else. Like, you can't be afraid to do it.
My name is Annabelle. Myself needs to be like horizontal on a bed right now. Like I need to.
What are you guys just standing here doing?
We're waiting for our Uber.
Did she order it already?
Yeah.
Did you get the Uber?
No.
Good.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Oh yeah, where is he?
He abandoned you guys.
Let's go. Have more
Abandoned you
drinks.
guys.
Wait.
He's there.
Call him.
What's the purpose of calling? He's there. Bro, when girls get Ubers, what kind of car is it? Do you guys know the car types? Real quick, do you guys use Snapchat?
It's a Honda.
Do you use Snapchat? Add me on Snapchat. I think you're really cool and really pretty. I'd love to have you, like, I don't know, just follow me on Snapchat. If you want to hang out with me at some point, let's do it.
You're from New York?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I'm into it.
From everywhere. Here, dude, I'm not going to steal your phone, don't worry.
Oh my God, stop.
Don't look at me like that. Freaking scaring me, girl. Why'd you say it so seductively? Where are you? I've been waiting all night.
Wait, did you leave?
There you go.
Okay, I'm so confused.
You will now see
You did? You friended yourself?
yeah, girl.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna go to the next section, but you see how I go in there and it's not even a big deal, just get her fucking Snapchat. But the tonality of my voice the entire time was super flatline, right? Now we're gonna get into an example where I really kind of go a little harder with the verbal role playing, kind of the whole joking around thing. This is actually the same interaction. They stayed there a little longer because they were, I guess, into me and my student, even though they had already ordered Uber and were trying to go home and sleep. Look at how I crack into this one here. And let's look at how I apply more of the verbal game principles. Oh, I thought you said I met you.
Nice to meet you, I said.
Shit, I love you. Nice meeting you. You're so sweet. You're such a sweetheart.
So pretty eyes.
See that again? Just now, I opened this girl. This is her friend. The second I opened her, she didn't say anything to me. She just made eye contact. She was giving me that indicator that she liked me. She was twirling her hair and looking at me like, oh my God, who's this daddy? What'd I say? You're so sweet. You're such a sweetheart. I'm attributing a personality trait. Most guys here would be like, hey, where are you from? You know, the generic, no, but I attributed personality trait to her. So you're so sweet. You're such a little sweetheart. Like the context is me making a connection with her and getting to know her. Right? The context is you're such a fucking sweetheart. I love you. Hey, little girl. You're such a sweetheart.
So pretty eyes.
And beautiful face.
Hugs back, hug back, hug back.
We're 1,
Why are you so reserved?
7. Because.
Just hold me like you want to marry me. Just fucking hold me. And look at my eyes. It doesn't mean.
197.
When are we getting married?
That's where we're going.
Oh my
We're
goodness.
When are we getting married?
9th and 7th. 9th
Pick a date.
and 2nd. So East 9th and 2nd.
October
And then we're going to
31st.
197.
Are you gonna dress up as a little clown? Are you gonna dress up as a little clown?
Yeah.
And like at night we're gonna consummate our relationship with clown sex. I'll come with the slippers, you wear the nose. Let's be like, girl, you're my favorite clown. Now again, this is again the guys will see this and like, oh my god, that's crazy. This is not a really great game, but this is a good demonstration of the verbal principles that I was talking about earlier. Okay, so she comes in and she's like, I started off already on the right note. Just you're sweet, you're a sweet little girl. Right? I'm already telling the girl and already presenting instead of explaining. And I do it even more, and now I go into the role play. But I don't say, hey, do you want to be my... No, I'm just like, you're my little clown. You're going to be my little fucking clown. Right? I'm not like asking permission. I think maybe I did say, do you want to be my little clown? But it's not, the context is not, do you want to be my clown? Inflecting, it's flat line communication. I cut the thread. Instead of me going down this whole thing about her being sweet, I started next thread. When are we getting married? And I made it about us, we. When are we getting married? When is it happening? When are we getting married? This is how you want to do your verbal game. This is how you have your verbals where they're not boring, not running out of things to say, all that shit. Fuck that. It doesn't matter. Just fucking role play. Right? Now it's the we frame that we're in. We're in the we frame. Me and you. So I go down this role play. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this together.
Oh my goodness.
When are we getting married?
9th and 7th. 9th
Pick a date.
and 2nd. So East 9th and 2nd.
October
And then we're going to
31st.
197.
Are you going to dress up as a little clown? Are you going to dress up as a little clown?
Yeah.
And like at night we're gonna consummate our relationship with clown sex. I'll come with the slippers, you wear the nose. Let's be like, girl, you're my favorite clown. All I want to do is just look at you with your puffy hair
When you're here.
and your stripes on your legs.
Thank you.
Then I'll tie you up. It'll be clown time.
Okay.
I'm gonna tie you up with the balloon.
We're standing outside
Isn't that so
the bar.
sexy? And then she tries to get me to smoke weed, and I just wasn't feeling that at that moment. I'm on program. I'm fucking trying to get the students into interactions and try to get them to pull. But again, you see, with these verbal principles, these fucking fuckboy frame dating principles, when you interact like this, when you interact through emotions instead of value, when you are coming from the being frame, when you're coming from, when you're the guy who learns how to unlock her emotions, you're going to be getting better reactions. You're going to be getting better results long term. That's what I did there. Again, the verbal game was jump in with the flatline communication, flatline tonality, not over-investing, not going up and down, up and down, up and down. Next thing, interacting through emotional relevance. You're so sweet. You're sweet. I just assume she's sweet. Presenting versus explaining. Instead of me saying, do you want to be the clown, or some little joke like that, it was just straight presenting, you're my little clown, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Cutting the thread and starting new threads. I wasn't sticking on one little thread. At the end, actually, of the role play, I wasn't like, what are you going to react next? I just cut it, and I was like, I'm just fucking with you, right? I'm fucking with you. A lot of guys will keep trying to get the role play going for like the whole interaction, and the girl's just like, okay, dude, like we get it, was fun, like it's sexual, I'm turned on a little bit, sure, but let's actually kind of build some comfort now, and let me see who you are. That's why you have to cut the thread and start new threads. There's nothing wrong with that. And then the last thing is emotional storytelling, which I did there. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And it was a fucking joke. It wasn't even a serious storytell, like we're going to get married and have kids. It was clown sex. How fucking stupid is that? But it fucking worked. Let's look at another example of how I interacted through emotional relevance in another club. So this was another night. Actually, I believe this is the same night of program. And I opened this girl, and eventually the students actually almost ended up pulling these girls, but they couldn't make it happen. Let's see what happens here. I just like swagger about me. Like, what? I'm just like, yeah, motherfuckers, what's up? Right now, both of you guys look stiff as fuck. You're just like, yeah. But when you go in and approach the girl, you look good. You guys look a little better, but it's because you're forcing it. Before I approach, I'm always just like this. Just like, yeah, what's up? So I'm constantly getting eye contact from women. Like those girls back there, I bet if I open them right now, the two set, you guys actually opened them earlier, I think. If I open those two girls. And right here, I'm coaching my students, telling them that I'm going to open these girls and it's going to fucking work before I even open the girls. And I think this was the second interaction I talked to. The first one I talked to was this other girl we'll probably look at later, and I got a solid number from her. But this was actually a really funny interaction because I told her, I was like, it's going to work, and it fucking works because I did exactly what I told her I was going to do, and we'll see what happens here. I bet that the set would open. You open. Wife. So I opened here, her friend actually, the girl's friend, screaming wife, just like wife, like be my wife. And the funny thing is that it's not even like the context behind how I was saying it wasn't super flat tonality. It wasn't like just wife. It was kind of funny, kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm starting off already being emotionally relevant and already kind of getting into the storytelling we frame. That's like the huge backbone of my verbal game. I'm starting off like you're my wife. I'm starting off like that. Be my wife. Let's see what happens. See, you got it. I was like, I want her to be my wife. I'll take you instead, because she hated me.
Second option.
Why are you fucking treating me like dirt, girl? Sorry. I'm not dirt. I know my hair is funny, and my jacket's like a fuckboy jacket, but
I'm treating you like dirt?
Yeah, so just treat
I
me
was your second option.
No, you weren't my second option. I just didn't see you clear enough. But you're my first. Hold on, 2 seconds. Don't run away, 2 seconds. Hi, I love you. What's your name? Tim.
I'm Sydney.
I'm honestly like not a fuckboy. I have a good heart. I promise.
I believe it. And I like your hair, and I like your style.
I like your hair more than mine, and your style is much cooler than mine.
No, this is a costume.
Like a Halloween costume?
Yeah.
Why are you dressing up so early? That's pretty sexy, actually.
It was for Comic-Con.
Again, we're already doing this. We're already starting with the emotional relevance. So again, she kind of was running away, so I had to save it by saying, 2 seconds, come here, get to know me. Again, telling the girl what to do. It's just like, come here, stand here, get to know me. What happens is she has this outfit on, and I just reframed it as, instead of, it's a cool outfit, I'm like, you're dressing up early for Halloween, that's sexy. Right? It makes no sense. I'm just like, you're dressing up early for Halloween. I think it was the beginning of September, and I'm just like, you're sexy because you dressed up early for Halloween. Does that make sense? I didn't say her outfit was sexy. I said, look at you dressing up early for Halloween. That's pretty sexy, actually. Right? And the girl, again, falls into that narrative, and she starts touching her hair and opening up now because I was emotionally relevant. I like your hair more than mine, and your style is much cooler than mine.
No, this is a costume.
Like a Halloween costume?
Yeah.
Why are you dressing up so early? That's pretty sexy, actually.
It was for Comic-Con.
Are you a nerd?
I'm not, and I didn't get it, and I was Mia Wallace from Pulp Fiction. I have the wig in her bag.
You're a nerd. You see, again, when I was talking about the absence of over-investing verbally, how when you're talking to girls, when you're interacting through emotional relevance, when you have this peaceful clarity of your words, when you know you have flat line communication, you're not filling in space. You're not like, okay, I need to say the next thing. Remember presenting versus explaining? That was a perfect example. I literally combined all three of these, like tonality, you're a nerd. Presenting versus explaining. I didn't say to her, you seem like you'd be a nerd. Just straight, you're a nerd. Just, you're a nerd. That's it. Like, that's the way you want to interact verbally. Instead of saying, I think this, I think that about you, it's just, you are this. Like, you are this. You're a nerd. And the girl falls into that frame, right? The girl just falls into the fucking frame when you do this. You're a nerd. And the girl, literally, you can see her kind of opening up and just investing. And I go even further with the storytelling and stuff. Let's look at what I do next. I love you. Why do you keep giving me the doggy pat on the back? Like you're dirt, little boy. You're just a little doggy to me. Something you should do as well, if a girl's kind of giving you a little bit of shit, this was petty. This was actually really petty, and I was overthinking it because I was shooting infield, and I may have been in my head. This could have been earlier in the night. I don't even know. But I don't give a shit. But I was like, why are you giving me the doggy pat in the back? Call girls out. There's nothing wrong with that. Like being a girl, why the fuck are you treating me like shit? And again, what am I doing there? I'm exaggerating. What I'm trying to do by showing you this is infield, showing you guys infield, is showing you why I'm doing everything, why I'm saying everything that I'm saying here. There's a reason for all of it. It's not conscious in my mind, but this is why I'm saying all these things. This is why I'm doing these different things. It's because what I'm getting from the girl is certain feedback, and I respond certain ways. Right? Again, these fuck boyfriend dating principles are applied when you're out, and you can see me doing them and executing them on with these girls. I love you. Why do you keep giving me the doggy pat on the back? Like you're dirt, little boy. You're just a little doggy to me. That's all you are.
You're looking too much into it.
I know. It's my mom's fault.
What's your name?
Tim. My mom hurt my self-esteem when I was younger, and I never got over it.
Why?
Telling me I was ugly since I was 5.
Look at you. You're beautiful.
Thank you for making me feel good.
You are.
How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
22. again, a lot of guys at that point, they'd be like, I said, thank you for making me feel good. She said, you are. A lot of guys will, again, two things, cutting the thread, right? Changing the fucking topic and moving on, and then flatline. So the girl literally is like, you make me feel, you're beautiful, whatever, like that. Instead of me sticking on that one thread, like, cool, got the compliment, let's keep going and doing that, and falling into that frame, next thing, how old are you? That's it. Or when's your birthday? How old are you? How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
22.
No.
24.
Being president, you got it.
My same age.
You're 24? When's your birthday?
November 10th.
I'm November 8th!
You're a Scorpio?
You know that Scorpios only like other Scorpios.
I am going to marry you. So now she's investing. She tells me Scorpios only like other Scorpios. She's like, yeah, let's go. I like you. Right? She's giving me that attraction. I already knew she was attracted from the beginning because she was giving me engagement. She was receiving me. Remember we talked about the third kind of girl. How do you know if she's attracted to you? If she just engages you. If this girl doesn't engage you, it's like, okay, please leave me alone. She's not. This girl's engaging me. She's staying in. She's talking to me. She's giving me that positive feedback. So I know she's attracted to me. Right? And she says, Scorpios only like other Scorpios. And I kind of, again, stopped investing super hard and I walked away kind of as a joke, just like, fuck, you're a Scorpio. Me too, Jesus Christ. You're a Scorpio?
You know that Scorpios only like other Scorpios.
So now, look at how I begin to role play with her. I start role playing. So she says, Scorpios like other Scorpios. You're a Scorpio?
You know that Scorpios only like other Scorpios.
I am going to marry you. So she says, Scorpios only like other Scorpios, and I say, I'm going to marry you. Let's look at what happens. You're a Scorpio?
You know that Scorpios only like other Scorpios.
I am going to marry you. We're going to have 3 children. It's going to end in heartbreak.
All girls. Oh, it is, and then I'm out.
So I say, we're going to have 3 children. We're going to get married. It ends in heartbreak. She's like, okay, then I'm out. And I'm just like, okay. See, now it's not, and when she said I'm out, she didn't actually mean fuck you, because as you'll see, I end up kind of leading, and I gave her to one of my students so he could move the interaction forward. But she's literally like going with the frame. She's just like, I'm out. I told her those fucking stories. I was like, we're going to have 3 children. It's going to end in heartbreak. And she's like, no, I'm not about that. Again, you're not always going to get the girl being like, yes, fuck me right now. Every girl's not going to do that, but still the context behind your verbals should be like this. Role playing, storytelling. We're going to get married. We're going to have 3 kids. It's going to end in heartbreak. There's the we. It's not like, I'm going to marry you, girl. No, it's like, we're going to get married. And it's emotionally relevant as well, because I said you're a Scorpio, which means we're going to get married. Does that actually make sense? Sure, you could. That's a good joke. That's a good little phrase there. But emotional relevance doesn't have to be logically always, yes, we're doing this, we're doing that. It could be just free-flowing and light. Come with me to the bar. Well, your friend's at the bar. Can you abandon her for like 5 seconds and come with me to the bar?
Why are you gonna get me a drink?
I don't know. I'm going to consider it, but probably not. But come with me to the bar. So after all that we went through, I'm still not good enough. Ron, I'm going to kill myself. So I'm just telling the girl, I'm like, come with me to the bar. She's like, are you going to get me a drink? I'm like, I don't know. Probably not, because I don't know you well enough yet. And she's like, no, fuck no. But she actually ends up doing it in a second, or inviting me to go with her. Yeah, it's just funny. Don't do that! I'm gonna kill myself. I'm committing suicide today.
I'm going with her to the bar. Come with us.
Can I meet you later? Oh wait, you want me to come with? Okay. So eventually we go to the bar, and I ended up giving this girl to my student, so my student could, and my other student was already in the interaction with actually there was another guy, and then I put my student in the interaction with her friend. So it was 2 girls and 2 students, and then they ended up, I think, hanging out with them and either getting close to going outside or something like that. They didn't pull, but it was still a good interaction. And that was that. Let's get into another example of the kind of verbal game that you want to have in different situations, because I want to talk, about the way you should be communicating through emotional relevance, and let's see how those verbal game principles apply. So this is a clip from the same night where I actually opened this girl. We're going to go through the whole interaction. I get a solid number from her. I actually ended up seeing this girl again at a later date. But we're going to get into the interaction, how I properly did this. This is earlier on in the night, so it's kind of a more logical interaction because I wanted to see her again. So we're going to look at how I properly did this interaction and how I interacted with her through emotional relevance and by using the 5 Fuckboy frame verbal principles. Does anyone want to do this? I know everyone's stifled. I'm stifled. Really quick, I'm telling everyone that they're stifled. I'm like, I know everyone's stifled. The reason why I'm saying that is because it literally was the first interaction of the night. And everyone in the club and my students were all stifled. Even me, I was like, shit, first day of program. It was the first day of program too. And I was like, okay, here we go. Let's go out here and make shit happen. Or I think this is the second night, actually. This was Friday night, so it was the second night of program. Students had done pretty well the previous night, but I was like, let's make some shit happen. And you'll see kind of how I interact with this girl. I kind of did it just to demonstrate and break the ice for my students. We're all stifled. Does anyone want to do this? Or no? If you guys don't want to say no, and I'll do it. You're thinking way too much. You're like, I have in my head. You're in your head? Wait, okay, cool. What are you in your head about?
No, now you're like.
Excuse me. Okay. So, my three friends were looking amongst themselves. So I was talking to them, and you walked by, and I was like, we're gonna take a commercial break because she's adorable. And I was like, which one of you guys is going to be a brave gentleman and interact with her? And all of them looked at each other and were like, not me, not me, not me. I also was a part of that crowd. I was like, not me, not me, not me. But then I was like, you know what? She looks like she could be as pretentious as myself. So, fuck it. I'm going to come in and meet her. So here I am. Tim. So that was a really long, extended, unnecessary opener. Like, it was completely unnecessary. The reason why I did this, though, is because, again, you guys may be saying, you didn't follow the principles, keep it short, like minimal talking, no presenting versus explaining, right? A lot of times, when it's later in the night, it's easier to get away with, presenting and not explaining, just saying whatever, like saying one-word things, just because maybe the girl's a little more in her head early on. Not saying that I couldn't have said less here. Sure, I could have, but it's no such thing as like, this is wrong, you're doing it wrong and terrible. So in this situation, I was in my head more, and I'm showing you this. I was debating whether I use this info clip, but I wanted to use it to show you guys, hey, I'm being in my fucking head as well, but here I am, I'm interacting with a girl, and I'm gonna make shit happen, right? I'm in my fucking head, like, oh God, fuck. But I'm still doing it. So I'm in my head and I'm kind of wonky, a little bit saying a little more than I probably should say because it's not necessary, but it still worked because of what? My subcommunication. This is a great example. See how locked in I am? This is a great example of how subcommunication is more powerful than your words. My words here are a little all over the place. And if I was a guy that was standing, remember we talked about it, the drink in hand, hey there, ha 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 ha, maybe I wouldn't have had the same result, which was eventually end up going out with this girl and sleeping with her and getting to know her, right? But here's a little different. I had great subcommunication. I was locked in because that's my body language. It's part of who I am. So you can see the subcommunication is really fucking on point. I'm visualizing it. I visualized it before I approached her because she was so hot. I had a boner right here. No homo, but I have a fucking boner. I'm like, shit, this girl's hot. And then also I was relaxed as fuck. I wasn't over-investing and freaking out with my body. I was locked in, leaned in, not chasing really with my body. And then I manifested it in the way I was looking at her. Okay? And then let's listen to how my verbal game goes here. Tim, do you work here?
No.
Are you a promoter?
Sorry?
Are you a promoter?
I've been here a few times.
Are you a promoter?
Promoter? No.
You look like a promoter. You have the whole black back sack.
No, I just got off from work.
Oh shit, what do you do, little girl? What do you do?
Makeup?
What do you think I do? So you see, I asked her, I said, are you a promoter? I was just figuring out kind of what the context was of her being there. I thought she actually did work in the place. She didn't, because she has that bag on. And she said she does makeup, and I was like, oh shit, little girl. Interesting, what do you think I do? Cutting the thread again. Most guys would say, tell me about makeup. Tell me about how you do your makeup and all that stuff. And they don't give a shit about the makeup. So I just cut the thread, next topic, what do you think I do? Tell me about that. And I gave her a response, I was like, oh shit, little girl. What do you think I do?
What do you do?
What do you think I do?
I have no idea.
Give a stab at it.
You're an actor.
What makes you say that?
I don't know.
And the whole time of this interaction, listen to how flatline my voice is. I'm not inflecting. Sometimes I'll show emotion, of course. When I say have a flatline voice, it doesn't mean you can't ever show emotion at all. I'm saying that it's flatline, though. I'm not like, oh, cool, oh, nice. No, it's very flatline. What makes you say that?
I don't know, there's the guy.
How old are you?
What?
How old are you?
25.
There's no way you're 25.
What?
There's no way you're 25.
Years away. I am.
You seem much younger.
Younger? Why, you thought you looked older? Yes, you did.
I did not say you looked older. I said, what do you do, little girl? I did not say you looked older. You do not look 25. I'm not an actor.
What are you?
I teach for relaxation. It's alright. I travel. I spend my money and time traveling, so I just mentor people on Skype. So I don't really have I do workshops in the city occasionally, but usually my time is spent on Skype.
You notice how now I'm being a normal guy. A lot of guys may see this and they may be like, Tim, you're not being crazy emotionally relevant. You're not role playing 24/7. No, but I'm being a normal guy. I started off with those higher emotions, and now I'm just sharing value. I'm building up comfort with her. The girl has to actually get to know you as a person, just to know who you are. So I'm doing that here with my words, right? But I'm still flatline. I'm still following the verbal game principles, a big flatline. If the girl's not bored, the girl's engaging me. The girl's a part of it. But I'm still staying flatline.
You came with who?
My sister.
Girls are never like just randomly alone in the club. So I'm like, where's the person who's gonna cock block me in 5 seconds? I'm just waiting for her to come out and be like, get away from me.
Got here. Yeah.
Where are you from?
Long Island.
Why would you like ruin our whole?
So I asked her where she's from, and she says Long Island. And it's kind of a running joke that I used to have with my business partner that like Long Island's just a shit place, and a lot of people joke about that. Sure, you could say Jersey's a shit place. That's where I was born in Brooklyn, grew up in Brooklyn, but like, you know, Jersey's been a big part of my life as well. I moved there when I was younger, and a lot of people kind of joke about that. So I joked about it here. She said Long Island, and instead of me saying, "Oh, cool, Long Island," "Oh, I'm from blah blah blah," I had an emotional response. Right? I attributed emotion. So now I brought it back up because the interaction was getting a little boring, but I brought it back up. She said Long Island. I said, why would you have to be from Long Island? Like, why would you ruin our interaction? Now she's like, what? Why? See, there's the interaction there. There's like the communication, the sub-communication. Why would you ruin our interaction?
This is the start of something big, girl.
Why is that bad?
My previous business partner was from Long Island.
What?
My previous business partner was from Long Island.
What part?
Dix Hills. Like the really stuck up, pretentious part.
Valley Street.
I'm from Montclair, New Jersey. Do you even know what Montclair is? So how do you know it's cool? That's so dismissive. You're like, nice, but I really don't give a fuck. It's fine.
That's where you're from.
No, Montclair is like the really stuck up,
Who am I to judge?
pretentious. You seem very judgmental. I love judgmental people. I'm really fucking judgmental.
Yeah?
Yes, Montclair is like the really stuck up, pretentious part of New Jersey.
See, again, now I'm adding more emotional relevance. I'm just telling her, you seem fucking judgmental. I'm not saying it actually like she's judgmental. I'm rewarding her. I'm like, you seem so judgmental. Awesome. Cut the thread, bam, back to myself. I'm not going to go on this whole story about how she's judgmental. I put it in there. Emotional relevance. You seem judgmental. I love that. Rewarding her. Back to this.
Where everyone there votes for Trump and has attitudes and thinks they're better than everyone.
I don't like your place never.
Neither do I. That's why I left.
I take that back.
It's like, I agree with
really hate Trump more than anybody else in the world.
Oh, more than anyone else in the world? More than Kim Jong-un?
Yeah.
We are going to ship you up to North Korea, girl.
Do it. Down.
You're going to have a blast. You're going to be like, yeah,
Just hate Donald
suck my dick, Kim Jong.
And what's funny, you can even see in this interaction how I'm a little in my head, because I'm still, again, this is the first one I got of the night, and I'm still like, I keep kind of leaving the bar counter, just subconsciously, like, kind of reacting to tension a little bit. It's kind of a good example so you guys can see the difference between me when I'm killing it and when I'm not. A little in my head here. Let's keep seeing what happens.
I love it. So do I. My parents are like the non-stereotypical, like they're like the conservative rich black parents. And they're like, I'm trying to just make you hate me. I'm just trying to make you like, just hate me. And they're like, yeah, those kinds. We have so many fights about it. Like I walked out of dinner once. Well, my dad walked out of dinner. Like it splits the whole family. It's so funny, the drama.
Or because you hate him so much and nobody else does.
I don't really hate him. I don't even give a fuck. I'm just like Trump is an idiot. Like anyone who does not see that, it's pretty stupid.
Right? It's so annoying.
Anyway, enough talk about the old orange man. Unless you're running back to your sister, tell me about you.
Tell me about
Again, cutting the thread, and this was such a simple conversation. I wanted to demonstrate this to show you not all verbal game has to be like the first two where I'm just going on and on and on crazy, right? This is so fucking simple. It's just, okay, enough about that. Tell me about you. Next thread. On to the next thread. And I'm building comfort with her.
What's your name?
Nancy. Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Nice to meet you, Tim.
Tim.
Yes. Sorry.
After work, make photos. Live on Long Island.
You're going back to Long Island?
Yeah.
Like the Long Island Railroad? That's so adventurous. You're just like, I'm going to come to the bar club late at night.
I have work really early tomorrow, so I have to be back on the Long Island Railroad, so it kind of sucks.
Why don't you just Airbnb it and stay in the city?
Because I don't have clothes here.
Wear the same clothes. Just shower.
Actually, I had a really bad day today because I didn't realize that my dress was see-through.
Your what see-through?
My dress. So the whole
Everything
time,
Amina wants to take a flashlight
I
and
was
just be like,
wearing a whole see-through dress. And
wait,
then
this one or a different one?
a different one.
Oh, I thought it was this one. I was like, I'm totally about to take a flashlight and be like, everyone, look at her.
So it's another one, so I had to change. So I can't wear that when I get tomorrow, or else I'm gonna have a really uncomfortable day again. A lot of old men were staring at my phone. It's super uncomfortable.
Like old white men that look like they support Trump.
Yeah.
Do you think that? That's actually really funny. Oh, Nancy, your dress, your beautiful feminine form. You're funny.
So that was my day. I had to buy a new dress.
My day has been spent video editing. Then I taught a workshop session for like 4 hours. Went through some exercises with my clients, and then came out to the bar to kind of just chill and hang out. And then I now ran into. You look like you could be in Game of Thrones.
What?
You look like you could be in Game of Thrones.
I don't want to.
What?
I don't want to.
Well, that's I know, but you look like you could be in Game of Thrones. Like you'd be one of Cersei's family members.
Be in it?
In the show, like as one of the people, like one of Cersei's family.
I don't fuck with that.
Cersei's family is like the incest ones.
So again, I cut the thread again. It's like we started off talking about politics, Trump, and all that shit, and then it gets kind of weird because we just kind of start talking about boring things, and it kind of starts to die down. And what did I do? I changed the topic again. How did I do? Cut the thread. You look like you could be in Game of Thrones as one of Cersei's family members. All right, and now I'm about to go into a role play with her. It doesn't work exactly the way you traditionally want it to, but it was fine. And the result is what matters.
Cersei's family is like the incest ones.
Oh no.
That's really sexy. Incest. Fuck yeah.
Ew.
Fuck my cousin. It's not me. It's my background. Don't worry. It's blame my parents because they're weird black people. I love the look in your face. You're just like, I kind of hate this guy, but I kind of love him. You're just like, fuck this guy. He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I'm totally into incest. It's totally my thing.
Totally into what?
Incest?
I can see it all over your face.
I figured. It's the vibe I go for,
And as she's going along with it, she's like, I'm totally into incest, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of a joke, but she's going along with the role play. And that's ultimately what matters, it's like that the girl is getting bought into what's happening. You don't want it to just be, me, you trying to convey all this stuff and it's being met with resistance. You want the girl to get bought into the role play. You want it to be, both of you. You don't want it to be an exchange.
I actually thought you worked in fashion.
No, makeup.
Very similar. How do you kill your time?
Kill my time?
Yeah.
Going to a bar.
I'm sorry, that's not very nice. I'm sorry.
Kill my time? I feel like I have no time for fucking kill. This job has been driving me fucking crazy.
How is it busy? You're doing makeup. Are you in a salon?
No.
Or are you like? You're what?
Running around all day. Literally,
All
You're
day.
the second person makes fun of how I talk tonight.
So
The
cute.
second person.
It's adorable. All day. Can you say you garbage?
And now I'm calling the way she talks adorable, right? It's just, again, more and more of this. It's like, I'm not trying to get to a certain point with it. It's just keeping the interaction up, keeping the interaction alive. And here it's so early, so normally what you do is be like, come to the other side of the bar with me. But this one, I'm just letting it rest, just letting it chill. Because the students are right there. It's literally like 11 o'clock. Remember we talked about the warm-up phase, feeling where emotions are. This is what I'm doing now, feeling where my emotions are. And I'm kind of teasing her about this. I'm teasing her about, about what she does when she's not working and all those things.
Can you say that? Say that. Say it.
Say what?
You're garbage.
You garbage?
So Long Island. I'm gonna marry you. I'm gonna be like to my mom. This is my Long Island wife. She supports Trump.
I don't want to be Long Island.
It's cool. She's from Dix Hills. It's like the really rich Jewish area. My parents will be happy as long as I married a rich woman. That's what they are.
A rich woman?
Yup. Told you, pretentious cunts.
Do you like your parents?
Nope. I got kicked out
Oh, okay.
a long time ago, like 4 years ago. Something like that. I have two places. I live across the river and I stay in the city a lot. I rent out an Airbnb for like a month, depending on what projects I'm working on. A lot of times I'm in Sweden, Gothenburg, or I'm in Miami. But it depends on what project I'm working on for the month.
I'm trying to move to the city like
Really? What's stopping you?
money.
But you're like a makeup artist and you're from Dix Hills, Long
I'm not
Island.
from the hills.
I'm just assuming. I know. I'll just go with it. You're like from Dix Hills, so I mean, fuck it.
Our Valley Stream is not like that over there.
Is Valley Stream like a lower class area?
Then Dix Hills, I'm gonna say yeah.
So see, now I'm just telling her like where she's from in Long Island. I'm just assuming she's from this place. Remember again, all these principles, you can see them here. It's like presenting versus explaining. Instead of me explaining to her all this shit, I'm presenting it to her. I'm just like, you do this, you do that, you're from here. I'd marry you. I'm gonna bring you to my parents because they like rich girls. And that's actually not true, and I fucking love my parents. But in this context, I was kind of just bullshitting. Kind of for the camera as well. Again, you can see how the fuckboy from verbal principles apply here. It's like really just not investing at all. It's kind of, I'm just joking around with her. It's very, very light. My tonality is extremely flat. I'm cutting the thread, going from topic to topic, talking about marrying her, then going to where she lives, and now she's talking about moving to the city. There's no even way for me to run out of things to say. It's not even about that. And I'm not even talking a lot. She's talking as well. It's a mutual exchange.
I have no idea anything about Dix Hills. I hate it. I went once, and everyone looked at me like, why are you bringing him into our neighborhood?
Yeah, I can see that.
Hi, I'm Tim. I'm not weird, by the way.
And so a friend comes in, so in a second I'll introduce my student to the friend.
Nice to meet you, Tim. Emily? Tim, nice to meet you. I was finding out about her life from Long Island and how she, I'll stop there. But yeah, it was an interesting conversation. It was...
What made you approach her?
What?
What made you approach her?
She's pretty. And all my friends were freaking out, and I was like, fuck it, I'll be the one to say hi.
Where are your friends?
Right there. He's cool. Party. Join the party.
So here I bring my student in and have him join and talk to the friend so I can kind of, it's her sister so I can get back to interacting with my girl.
Emily. I was wondering where
This is Emily. She's actually super cool, even though I don't know her, but I'm assuming that she's
I
Nancy's.
could be a total cunt. You had no idea.
Could you be? That'd be awesome. You'd remind me of the people I grew up with. And then I just feel at home. Amazing.
Where are you from?
Montclair, New Jersey.
Nice.
Where are you guys from?
What the fuck? She said nicest. Do you know anything about Montclair, New Jersey?
No.
Why did both of you guys just say nice? She said nice.
I said very cool. And I was like,
I called her out on it. I was like, you don't know anything about Montclair. You're like, oh, awesome.
it's somewhere different.
You have lip gloss?
Lip gloss. Lip gloss.
You didn't make it out of the way I've been talking about.
Not really, just once, just the all part. You can't really tell an accent except for when you say that one word.
A lot. A what?
Swag, fam.
No, God.
I'm gonna probably go back to my friends, but you know what, Nancy? I would love to grab wine with you. Unless you don't want to, then I understand. I would love to grab wine with you.
Wine?
Wine. I drink wine. I don't drink other stuff. You what? You like wine? Do you ever have time? Because you said you're never free. So if you're never free, then I won't even bother.
I mean, yeah.
Would you be down to make time to grab wine? You would? What days usually work for you? Like if you had to have a day that would work, what would work?
I never know. It's always different every week. My job is not a set schedule. It's like every week they switch up my schedule. I literally don't know. So you have to like just let me know.
That's what they all say. No,
No, literally. I'll show you my schedule.
no, it's fine. I believe you. Okay, so I had a really cool rooftop in Midtown. It's like one of my favorite places. Novotel.
What?
Novotel. Novotel. It has the best view of New York City. I feel like now you're gonna go there without me. You're just gonna be like, let me swipe on Tinder and take a Tinder date there. You're just gonna be like,
Write this down.
or you're gonna find like a rich white man, a rich old tall white man, and then you're gonna find out he supports Trump and kill him in his sleep. This is gonna be crazy.
Oh my God.
I would love you for that.
I only want to kill Donald Trump for real.
Hugs, darling.
Literally hate Donald Trump so much.
So let's. Do you smoke at all? You said no.
Yes.
So let's grab wine and let's smoke.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at my hair. I kind of have to. I just feel like you're saying for sure, just like for sure. Like why not?
No, I smoke all the time. Literally, I was at Bean.
Lebain? That's my favorite club. I'm probably going there tonight. You want to come?
Maybe, but I was there and
He was like, maybe. Anyways.
maybe, I don't know, but I found
You should come with me to Lebain.
I found a bag there and it was filled with an eighth of weed. And I was like,
You naughty little soldier. Oh my God, you.
literally my life changed.
Okay. So we'll smoke and grab wine.
Do you want me to write down your number?
I'm thinking of when I'm free. Because I'm never free, that's the problem.
Neither am I,
So it'll work out perfectly. Awesome. Send me a text message. Don't just call me because I won't know who you are.
What's your number?
Do you remember my name?
Right?
Yeah, you got me. Cool. I thought you didn't know it. 917? 917? 226. I'm totally not getting her number. 4031. It's just not happening. I'm too shy to do things like that. Call me or text me.
Oh my God.
And you can look at my funny hair as we contemplate world domination and fill ourselves with alcohol. And
So basically what happened is I get her number and I ended up texting that girl and I went out with her about like 3 or 4 weeks later. And we had a fucking good time. Yeah, so I mean, again, this is an example of like good interaction, just super solid. In the previous examples, this is kind of what you want your verbal game to look like. And again, there's gonna be much more infield in the rest of the program, but this is a great example of a verbal game. You'll see how these principles apply with other girls that I'm talking to as well, and the other examples that I'll give for the rest of the videos in the different sections. But yeah, this is how you want your interactions to sound. This is how you want your verbal game to go. Remember the basic principles of verbal game, of good verbal game: tonality, interacting through emotions and emotional relevance, and presenting versus explaining, cutting the thread, starting new threads, and emotional storytelling. You want to have all those in different areas, different ways throughout your interactions. You don't have to be doing all of them at the same time. Ultimately, though, your sub-communication is what matters most. So don't think because an interaction went bad, it's because I didn't have emotional storytelling. No, because in the last one, for example, I didn't do a lot of that. I didn't do a lot of emotional storytelling. The first ones I did, but that one didn't really go anywhere. The other one, last one, did go somewhere, right? Because that's how you probably do game. Emotional storytelling, or sub-communication is what matters most, not these verbal principles. But these are the principles to having good verbal game, but they don't matter more than sub-communication. Okay, the next video we're going to talk about how to properly get physical with the girl.